All right, this has been a challenge for myself because it's a big time commitment. It's how do I explain it? It's simple, but it's not easy. And so because it's simple, uh, I thought it would be a good idea for me to better articulate how to do this because I got to get out of the way and I got to empower the rest of the team to be able to do this and do it well. So without further ado, let's get into it. So here's what we're doing: the metallic base layer. This metallic layer right now has nothing on it. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a few of these key elements and make sure that they end up being metallic. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab everything that's gold. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to unlock this metallic base, make it visible, and then come down here and Command-Shift-V, paste it in place. You can see if I isolate, I'm holding Option and clicking the eyeball on the metallic base layer. You can see I got it on there now. Cool. So what's next? I need to grab the badge here, okay, and then drop that here, boom. And then little by little, as I drop each of these elements back here, I'll come over and begin to stamp them out of one another. What do I mean by stamp them out of one another? Sometimes I will use the shape builder tool. Other times I will use the Pathfinder tools. Depending on how complex it is what makes me choose. If it's really, really complex, sometimes the Pathfinder's better, but it can get really laggy at times. And so if possible, I'll use the Pathfinder tool. In this situation, I'm gonna use the shape builder. And basically what I want is this purple, and that purple. I want all three of those lines. So I'm gonna hit Option and click and minus through these guys, minus through this one, and minus through this one. Now what ends up happening is if I double click into this, underneath there you see there's a bunch more. There's cream ones and blah, blah, blah. So this is where it becomes a combination of the shape builder tools and the Pathfinder tool because I just united those. Let me do that again. I clicked and dragged around all three of those with my move tool, and then I hit the unite on the Pathfinder tool, and now it's all just one. 3 different rings, all one. There's no cream or light purple beneath them. Cool. Now I'll grab them all, unite again. And right now they're purple, it doesn't really matter. The color that I want them to be is the metal color within the swatches, and this swatch will be preloaded in every single one of these heart files as is. So let's keep going. I know for sure I want all the side branding stuff. I know for sure I want this on the bottom. Oh look, the type isn't outlined. Another thing we need to do at the beginning is hit Command A, Command Shift O, and that's select all. Command A is select all, everything that's live, and then Command Shift O is going to outline all of our type. Outlining the type will allow us to do the metalized part easier. So what's next? I know this needs to come, and this needs to come. Basically, all of this needs to come, except for that UPC. So sometimes when I'm grabbing a bunch of stuff, I'll just delete it real quick and then undo. That can show me really easily what I have copied. And then I come over here, Command Shift V. Fantastic. Now, one of the things that's different between lager beers and all of the other beers is how we treat the metallic on this panel. So let me show you an example of the metallic on Calavera, which is a lager. On the lagers, we have the type metalized, and it's because the lagers usually have less color in them. They're lighter in nature, where if you look at Houston Haze, it's a little bit darker, right? So we've got the dark blurb with the knockout text versus the light blurb with the darker text. When we metalized this and when we were running samples, when we metalized the text, it looked like crap. So we pivoted. Anyhow, so we're gonna come over here, and really all we want on the metalized part is this outside stroke, because we don't want anything that's cream or white to be metalized. It ends up just being silver. And then the rest of these, we can take all of this and this and this. I'm gonna just hit Command A, grab it all. I for eyedropper tool, select it so they're all the metalized color. And then again, unite on the Pathfinder tool. Cool, let's keep rocking. And what I'm doing is I'm grabbing the easiest parts as I work my way up to the more difficult ones. So now we're going to grab the background clouds, the background elements. Whenever the typography has, or pardon me, whenever the center badge has design elements in the background, we want to metalize those as little highlights. Whenever the type has 2 or 3 colors, we want to try to highlight parts of the type, not necessarily the main type. So in this situation, it'll be that dark drop shadow, but not the type itself. Because if we metalize the type, if we metalize underneath that cream color, it's really just going to look like silver. We're also not going to metalize the logo. So we're going to need to take a couple of these design elements here and bring them over. I'm just going to grab 1, 2, 3, 4. That ends up being the main name, Houston Hazier, DIPA, this little heavily hopped badge, and then the background artwork. Come back over here to the metallic base. Command Shift V, paste in place. All right, now with all these guys selected, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this white part and I'm going to copy, I'm going to unite, and then I'm going to hit Command 8. Command 8 is something, where is it? Oh my gosh, clipping, compound path, make compound path. So basically we want to unite it and then make it a compound path because we're going to use it to stamp out of a few things. So I copied it to my clipboard and then I'm going to grab this guy and punch it out of that guy. So I punched out that out of the shadow, but I'm also going to want to do the same thing to these clouds because you can see if we metalize the clouds and the shadow, but we don't punch the white part out of the clouds, we're going to end up with some clouds in the middle of our type. And that looks really, really weird. I've made this mistake a few times when there are things that are kind of cutting in between the metalized part. Anyways, so we're going to grab these clouds and this stuff in the background, this little refinery thing, unite, Command 8, Command Shift V, grab all, and then minus front. Fantastic. So now we've got the clouds and we've got the shadow. We can grab those guys and unite. And then we've got this guy on the top. What we need to do is have him get stamped out because again, we don't want this to be metalized. So if this is going to be metalized, and this is going to be on top of it not metalized, we need to unite, Command 8, unite, Command 8, and then grab this one and this one. I'm clicking on the background elements and then shift clicking on the badge, and then unite, minus front, not unite, minus front. And now what that little bitty part right there, we're making sure that doesn't get metalized as with this part. And now finally, we've got this purple text with this cream stroke. Now the reason we've got that stroke on there is it creates a little bit of separation between the clouds and the type. So we got to be careful when we metalize it that we metalize the purple part and not the white part. How do we do that? Let's double click into each of these letters. What I like to do is make sure that I've got the path. Whoops. Yeah, here we go. Okay. So right now I've got the path is still live. What I need to do is outline that path. Object, path, outline, stroke. Might have to do it a couple of times. I'm not sure why you have to do it a couple of times. I think it's like the amount of objects. If there's 18 of them, you might do it 18 times. I don't know. Path, outline, stroke. If I do it 3 or 4 times and I don't see the stroke going away, then I'll go object, expand appearance. Do it again, object, expand, fill and stroke, there we go. All right, now we can see there's actually a couple of layers in here, and I think that may have been layered appearances where I made a production error, but that's okay. We'll clean it up. So I'm gonna take the cream, unite, Command 8, and then I'm gonna take the purple, and I'm gonna grab all the purple using the magic wand, or if you hit Y, you'll get the magic wand. Unite, Command 8, fantastic. And then I can grab the purple and the cream, shift clicking. Actually, before I delete both these guys, I'm gonna copy them both to my clipboard. Minus front, okay. Now I'm gonna delete that pink that was in the background because we don't really want it. Okay, cool. Now we've got the purple isolated away from the cream. Next, we need to bring back the cream because we need to stamp the cream out of this stuff. out of the rest of the background elements, right? So Command Shift V again. Make sure that we've just got the cream stroke. Shift click the objects in the background and minus front. Oop! Now this is what happens when you don't grab the cream part, unite, Command 8. Grab this part, unite, Command 8. When you don't do that unite, Command 8 thing, then it'll do something weird and it'll just give you one chunk of it instead of minus front all of it. So now you can see X-ray mode, Command Y. We can see we've taken out that little cream border now, so it'll be separate. And we can unite it all as one, and then we can even go and unite it all as one. Whatever the top color is what it'll change. So right now the purple's on the top. If I take this and go arrange, bring to front, and unite them all, then it'll all turn, then it'll all turn gray, right? Easier way to do that is just hit Command A and then unite it all. Or to use the eyedropper, grab the color, and then unite it all. But that's not really super important while you're working through it. Next, we need to do this part. And now this part can get a little tricky because we want to show the derrick, but we don't want to necessarily show the whole derrick because we're going to have some type on top of it. We want parts of the type to be metallic, but not all of it. So this part can be a little tricky. Grab it all, copy it all, come over here to the metallic base, paste in place, Command Shift V. First and foremost, we want this guy. Right now it's at 50% opacity, so we need to get it to 100% opacity. Sometimes whenever you're doing this minus front and using Pathfinder and Shape Builder, when you're doing that with items, with objects that have opacity adjustments on their appearances, it can, I don't know, it just acts weird. I can't fully explain it. But anyways, we're gonna go Pathfinder, unite, Command 8. Fantastic, it's all one. And then we're gonna grab this one. And you gotta think about what we want to be metallic here. We know we want this to be metallic. And I think we want the purple part to be metallic. Actually, no, let's do the, well, let's first, here's another thing that we can do. We can look at a previous file. Let's go look at Houston Hayes. Okay, for Houston Hayes, we did the same thing on the side. We did the purple, the shadow part as metallic, and the typography not as metallic. So let's follow suit. Come over here, double click into it, grab the pink, copy it to, or actually unite, Command 8. Now copy it to clipboard, Command C, and we'll take this guy, Command 8, shift click both of them, minus front, ta-da! But we want to make sure that all this part, all this metallic part right here, doesn't shine through. So we need to Command Shift V that pink part, and then get both the, oops, let me escape out of this because right now it's an isolated view. There we go. Okay, Command Shift V, Shift. Okay, now we got both of those, the derrick and the letters. And now we want to minus front. Fantastic. Now we can see we've got the light purple and the dark purple. Whatever. Let's grab it all, make it silver. Bang, bang, bang. Now you can see how it's going to be all metallic. Oh crap, we forgot about the DIPA. So down here, do we want to do all of it? Both the purples? Do we want to do just the stroked purple? Do we want to do just the fill purple? I don't know, let's look over here. Okay, we did just the stroke, fantastic. So what we need to do is, again, isolate the two of these so that we've got the stroke and the fill separated. And I'm expanding, expanding, expanding. Since last time I did it with object path outline stroke, it didn't seem to want to work with me. Now I'm going to take all this silver stuff, unite, Command 8, and then I'm going to take these two, and I don't want to grab just the purple yet. First I want to take this and this, the light purple and the dark purple. I'm going to copy them to my clipboard. What I need to do is take the dark purple, unite, Command 8, and then the light purple, unite, Command 8, and I need to separate the two of them so that, because you can see the X-ray mode, the dark purple actually goes into the light purple. So we can't just use either one of them. We got to kind of stamp it out before we can use it as a stamp, if that makes sense. So anyways, we're going to grab the dark purple and the light purple. Shift click, grab them both. Minus front, there we go. And again, we got this weird ghost pink lingering in the background. Now this dark purple, unite, -8. I think I already did this, but I just kind of repetitively do it as a habit. There we go. Stamped out the dark purple from the silver using minus front. And now Command Shift V. Now this time we need to get rid of the purple. And this stroke and the silver part unite. Oh, turn silver, whatever. There we go. Unite. And now what I like to do is turn on the art, and then I'll option click the metallic base, and I'll just like sit here and click the metallic base, and I'm scanning around, my eyes going up here, going back down here. This is kind of like if I were editing typography, line editing something, and I'm just making my way through the whole thing to double check that everything that I want to be metallic is actually on that base. And conversely, everything that I don't want to be metallic is not on that metallic base. So I'm checking for any of the white elements to make sure they're not there, because sometimes I make mistakes. And checking for all of the darker elements that I know I want to be highlights. And yeah, I got all my white stuff, my logo, my logo type, my typography, my badge in the middle, looking good. The elements in the back of the badge, purple. All three of my strokes on the badge, my stroke on the blurb on the right, all the branded stuff on the right. Government warning, all the gold stuff, and the Derek and typography on the left panel looking good. Ladies and gentlemen, we are done. One final check. Command A, Command Shift O, object, path, outline stroke. Something I always do at the very, very end before I save the final file, because I want to make sure that there's no live strokes in this, because God forbid some production person gets a hold of it, scales something and moves it, and then that 1 point stroke becomes a 1.1 stroke or something, it changes the width or something, or they scale it down, it becomes 0.9. Anytime they're moving my stuff around, I want the type to be outlined, and I want all of the strokes to be outlined as well. All of the objects to be expanded. We've already done all of that. Now, Command S to save it. Command Shift S. Save it as PDF. Bang, bang, bang. And then File, Export as PNG. And the very last step is we upload it to the client's Dropbox, and we notify the rest of the team that it has been there. The rest of the team is both internal and external. Hey, Garrison and Amy, the file's in there. Hey, Anthony and Angie and Sada and whoever else on the Johnny O design team. Hey, everybody that needs to know, we let them know, because we do things and tell people. It's not enough to do things. We got to communicate. We got to tell people. And that's that on that.